morning there. You're watching QTV This Morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko. So today, I'm not sitting right next to my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde. Today, I'm sitting right next to Mr. Mamadou Mbodj, and he's my co-host today. And could they talk for so what they talk for next my co-host? Hanga bobo do you ambada? I can't remember either.
Maybe hell no once or so.
Wow, something
but
like
I can't
that.
remember where you co-host.
Wow.
Why hang on you against
We are a better partner. I don't know wherever Balde is, but Balde, whatever. I might decide name Mr. Mbodj my next my long time co-host. Parce que my but let's see what happens because your tam sa setla. Te hamna do ko buka coup d'etat.
No hanga li la ma defo. Bi ade ñuy mu ne ko xam nga Mbodj sax. Yo ya ma ginal. So legi
yow tam so fa nekote mu ne ade ne Mbodj ma ginal.
One good turn deserves another.
Wow,
now I'm giving him that.
Yeah, but Mr. Mbodj, it's good that you're here with us for the entire show today. I'm looking forward to interesting conversations. And Mr. Ka is also here with us on the newspaper review. Mr. Ka, it's been a while.
Yeah, you know, I'm busy behind the scenes doing what I have to do. So I just get kidnapped once in a while to be with you. And it's a pleasure as always.
All right. So, Mr. Mbodj.
Pleasurable kidnapping.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's a new concept.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mbodj, should we head right on to the newspaper review or we take a look at the proverb?
Do we? Yeah, proverb.
Yeah,
That's how you normally do it.
Do you want to take us through?
What is it? When the lion is ill, the mosquito does the cupping. So quite interesting, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, Buganda proverb.
Yeah.
Buganda, that's
When
where
the
Uganda
lion is
isn't
ill,
it? Used to be around
the
that
mosquito
area.
does the cupping.
The mosquito does the cupping.
Yeah, where the mighty is weak,
Yeah.
and the weak assumes the strength
Yes.
and do the destruction.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show the play of power. Where you are vulnerable, your enemies will attack
They will.
to destroy, to win. That is the scenario applicable in life as always. So when you are in a confrontational situation, when you are weak, make sure you retreat. Otherwise, you get finished. Because, you know, that's when you are vulnerable. I think that's my, you know, understanding of the proverb.
That's exactly it. And the fact that the mosquito and the lion, so the smallest thing really can take advantage.
Yes, the smallest.
Isn't it? The smallest thing.
Yeah.
So
And I agree with Mr. Ka. Sometimes you just have to put your ego aside and understand that I cannot cope in this particular situation. So let me just take a step back and then go get some power or whatever that you need to get and then come back better than staying in the surrounding when you know you are that vulnerable where as small as a mosquito can take advantage of you.
okay, so you've sort of taken it further.
Yes.
Now imagine yourself being the lion and you're ill here. So what do you do?
Well,
how do you bide your time until you recoup?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. If you can extend the metaphor here a bit for people, that's it. You are in a situation knowing that anybody will take advantage of you. Now, how do you
get back up?
That's
you
it.
just retreat.
Stay in your head.
You have to retreat to regain your power, withdraw your strategies, and then come back stronger. Because in a situation when you are vulnerable, anything can happen. So that is why you have to go, you know, thinkers, great warlords, you know, when they are faced with such situations, they're not necessarily running away, but they're going to retreat to withdraw their strategies and then come back offensive with more, you know, power and then, you know, with decisive blow to destroy. But if you are vulnerable and weak, you have to be careful because anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true. Mr. Mbodj, are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've done a decent job there.
I think so too. So let's head right on to current affairs. I think to start with is Tobaski, because the government of the Gambia has removed all income and domestic taxes on Tobaski rams this year, you know, to ensure that, you know, everybody is able to get their ram at a very reasonable price, because every single year the prices are skyrocketing. So that is one step that the government has taken when it comes to the Tobaski and Tobaski lands.
They did that last year and it worked. It did pay off because Senegal also is doing the same thing. I understand they negotiated with the Malians and the Mauritanians and then lift up all these taxes so that they can just come. You know, that is the advantage of the free market. The more the merrier. If you allow people to bring goods, then the price will go down naturally, because when the availability of the goods is more than the demand, then that's just natural. So I think what they have decided to do is very good, because it will pay off. The dividend is there. Because Tobaski is a period of concern for everybody, you know. It's when rams are to be bought, you know, which is requirement in our religion, and everybody want to do it. But affordability is of the essence.
But that's it. But here, this is a question. Are prices actually going down?
When it comes to the rams, that is the intention. That is
I
why
know,
the tax is being
absolutely.
removed.
So how would it reflect in reality the prices of rams?
That's what I'm saying. Last year, they did it, and it happened. The prices were relatively very good because of maybe Senegal also had issues at that time, and most of the people who were selling rams came to Gambia. So it was flooded, and then that impacted on the price. The price was really, in relative terms, it did go down last year. But this year, I don't know how it's going to impact. But it will help if you put an incentive to ensure the availability is there. Where quantity is available, then prices is bound to be affected. That's the economic sense.
So have you been seeing a lot of people with their...
At this point, tomorrow is the 3rd, today is the 4th of June. I've not seen really that many rams, you know. Probably a week to go, we will see, you know, the Senegalese coming in, the Mauritanians coming in to actually sell. But I'm seeing some along Takwa Mosque, Yudufnak. Hanga yumawa, I 50,000.
Those are the ladums, you know, they are the crossbreeds that they normally. But what happened, what should really also affect the prices or impact it is this small ruminants project. You know, it's been ongoing, and there's been millions of dollars allocated. So I don't know how that will reflect this year in terms of the availability and the prices. But we know that there was a project that was, you know, giving millions of dollars, and we hope that people did rear a lot or go to buy, and I don't know, but we expect that to happen.
Yeah, you're right. Even ActionAid also did their own funding, some sheep fattening, you know, the small ruminants and everything. There are a lot of agricultural projects actually giving that a lot of focus.
Yes.
So I think I would expect that a lot of Gambians this year will be on the streets actually selling ram, because like you mentioned, a lot of money has been put. But let's observe it. A week to go, we will be able to conclude. Yes, we'll be able to see what happens and all of that.
And I think I also heard, was it from the NRA? I hope I'm not slandering you. That sort of trying to control, you know, people who sell rams, you know, their flocks, where they go, you know, they want to have, I think, designated spots where people can go. Otherwise,
one place is GCCI, you have the Abuko. I think it's very good. If they do that, then we can all converge in one place, and then you can meet all the, you know, vendors and negotiate, because it's very exciting, because it's a period of haggling as well. You know, the way we do business, or this is 15,000, or I can only offer 12,000, or, you know, that haggling also is part of, you know, the day-to-day transaction of all these things, and it makes it really exciting. So I think that will help, because, you know, it will take off the littering, because sometimes these, you know, concern, I think it's good. It's a very good idea.
It is. It is, because it's at the GCCI Trade Fair. There's something called Tobaski Wanter, which is really organized at the level of the GCCI Trade Fair grounds with stalls and everything. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything that you need during the Tobaski period, which is a good thing, you know, with the littering concern.
And the Sukuta market, I think
they also have something like that.
Yeah.
But Mr. Mboj, yesterday I did this story on the news on World Bicycle Day, and everybody said, oh, there's World Bicycle Day. Well, there is, you know, and the fact that I did it was a good thing, because it taught me a lot of things. The bicycle is not just a mere, you know, form of transportation, but, you know, it's sustainability when it comes to emissions. You know, the fact that it can help with diabetes, it can help with lung health and a lot of other things. But I can't ride a bicycle.
How? How?
I just can't. Because when I was younger, I wasn't like playing around with kids in the neighborhood. I was always indoors. So I never actually had the chance to explore that.
Or for some of us, that was like a kind of a milestone.
to be able to ride a
learning
bicycle.
to ride a bike. You see, once you go beyond that, once you know how to ride a bike, then it seems that your status had sort of improved. As a young guy.
Status symbol.
Really?
Absolutely.
I never knew that. Is that the same case for you?
Yeah, well, you have to understand that these things are gadgets. They were new.
Absolutely.
And moving from A to B, bicycle was a big deal. Not everybody could have afforded bicycle that time. Your dad has to be somebody or somebody in society. It was a status symbol thing. He's right.
Wow.
And to have
It
a
was a
bicycle now is so rampant and common.
Exactly.
It's so normal. It's just like telephones. When mobile phones came, you'll just have few people having the gadgets. And it was a status symbol thing. You see people moving around with mobile phones. That was new, big deal. Just like your generation now, when you have iPhone, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
There will
yeah.
come a time when it will be nothing. Everybody will be having a similar kind of, mobile, and, it will be serving the same purpose. So that is how it used to be, and
Yeah.
it's true. Even cars,
Yeah.
vehicles is the same.
The same
Only
thing
few
happened.
people used to own vehicles. It used to be a status symbol. And in the whole street, you will have just one person or one family owning a vehicle. So everybody would know that particular dad or uncle who owns the vehicle.
Wow.
So it was motorbikes when they came, and bicycles, everything
TV
have a
and
stage
TV.
of
The
even
whole
television.
TV,
Yeah, we used to
maybe
go
just one
and crowd
compound,
one home.
everybody
Yeah,
will
you start
congregate.
by the window. The whole street will come and then be peeping in the window to watch a television.
Wow.
And it was black and white, and
Yes.
it wasn't even. It will flicker, and then somebody will be outside and rotating the aerial so that they will say turn left. Turn, no, move to the right. Oh, okay, it's coming.
Yeah,
It flickers.
yeah, yeah.
So it just shows the transition of everything.
Why yen man same time man ñeeyu ma leen de.
Exactly.
Man yen ñeeyu ma
No,
leen
it
same
was
time.
more beautiful because we used to go around playing up trees,
Wow.
climbing,
Wow.
jumping,
Ñun foyuñ
swimming,
time xale moom.
and nobody, they were not like
Man.
all these thieving and all these.
Exactly.
Lot of things where, children were children. We used to do activities that were extracurricular,
Yes.
doing everything. So
That's
it was,
true.
they were beautiful times, you go to the rivers and swim, and you'll have elders there checking, and
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it was beautiful in our own way, but every generation
Has
have
their
their own
own-
thing. Now you
yeah.
have the PlayStations, the TVs, the other things that are distracting.
Yeah.
So therefore you have a lot of diabetes and other,
That is true, and all the
issues, yeah,
illnesses
yeah.
because we do not get into any
yeah,
physical
yeah,
activity.
and the overeating as well.
Yeah,
we have
true.
so much food now.
Yeah,
people-
yeah. Canned foods,
Yeah,
the
and all
carbonated
this, yeah,
foods, and
know.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That time, if you eat an egg, it has to be once a month, and they'll just give you a little bit of it.
Yeah,
So
but now
that
it's
was a luxury. So
At the
now
time-
the production of poultry and all these
It's
things,
everywhere.
people may say in relative terms it's expensive, but it's different.
Yes.
We live in an era of abundance in
Yeah,
relative terms. Yeah, definitely.
Compared to at the time
Yeah.
when you used to have school feeding programs
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
big time.
highly had to depend on
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be able
The
to
crack
eat
whip,
properly.
we
The
call
crack
it.
with.
Yeah.
But in the morning you'll have your milk.
Yeah,
Then afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just a
It-
different.
yeah, I think you guys were more grateful
yeah.
with the little that you had
and we
than
had
us.
the nature as well. You had
Yeah, the
all the things,
trees.
everything around. Yeah.
Yeah. But you talked about swimming. We had this unfortunate incident that we discussed yesterday. In Basse, where 6 children drowned in a lake. Around
It's
there.
sad.
It's really sad.
Swimming is compulsory in most Western countries now because they recognize that you will need it as a skill at some point, to save your life. And the reason why we were all swimmers around here because we live in Banjul. Banjul is an island, so you have to learn to swim very early because if you go by the seaside, if you don't know how to swim, they'll just push you. Children are wicked. They'll push you. Yeah, you have to learn to swim by force because they will push you. If you go to the wharf, you don't know how to swim, don't go near to the wharf because they will push you.
Oh, wow.
So you
had to learn
yes,
forcefully.
there was no choice. Or you have to cross the Bone Road. That time, you have the ring around Banjul of the Bone Road. That's where the water is that is the absorption, that is the ring. The water used to go around and it used to be relatively clean.
Oh, okay.
So we cross the Bone Road, we go from Banjul to the other side of Parmachine to go and get some fruits or little things, crabs or adventure or fish.
Wow.
Yeah, Banjul was, that. So you have to learn to swim.
So
very
you can
early.
swim?
Absolutely, yeah.
But this is it. But Mr. K, there was another slightly different angle here. Because where you had sort of in the beaches, the older boys would always be running things.
Oh, yeah.
They will take you in, and just leave you to learn to swim, but they're around supervising.
Wow. Like
So there was a
lifeguards
certain kind of social order. That's it. So you really didn't allow kids to play on their own without somebody slightly older there.
Okay.
So there was a certain social order
That
was
existed.
taking care of,
Yes.
you know, little
The
kids'
little ones,
security
yeah.
and the like. It appears to me that there is that breakdown in many ways. We are much
yeah,
bigger, the
yeah.
demographics, everything have changed, but the social cohesion
Yeah.
we had then, perhaps it was Banjul and very small, easier to do that. We were all essentially family, which is a network. We were all just getting married.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
in the end, you become a big
family
family.
structure have changed over
Changed,
the years as well.
exactly.
You must
All of
understand
that
that
have
people
changed.
used to live in a singular compound with everybody. Now people
Yeah.
migrate to the Combos. You
That's
have
it.
2-3 people living. So it's the family structure is not the same. It's completely different.
Exactly.
And like you said, you'll have the Nongos, the bigger boys that will be
They're
there.
all around.
Checking.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Even when
They
you're
will-
fighting, they'll say, come. Don't use any weapons.
they will allow you to fight.
We'll take you to ton,
Yeah, you
and
fight.
they'll that's it, you will
You-
fight.
you
But
will
no
fight,
weapons,
yeah.
no weapons. They'll
But-
supervise.
yeah.
Extraordinary.
No,
well,
fight,
call
not
it
a
what
fight.
you
Then
will.
you
Call it
respect
what
each
you
other
will. You
after
respect
that.
each other afterwards.
Yeah.
Man, they do suma for man do madon boka man.
No, there were times, you know, when
Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
extraordinary.
And,
So that's what you don't have
You
now,
guys are
isn't it?
revealing interesting things here. I've never heard of that one.
Banjul had a different kind of, you know, vibe in those days, especially this time of the year when Tobaski is there. That's when your father or whoever buys the ram have to have a big one with big horns. Because they have to take them to the beach and they have to fight.
Yeah.
These rams have
I know
to
that.
fight. So if you the bigger you have, the better. You show off. You see these big boys, they go with these big rams, they go to the beach and they give them some kind of feed that used to grow around the beach. They call it dufal har. So you eat this and then the rams will have to fight.
Nice.
Sometimes they fight and one may die and then you have a problem going home to explain what happened or seriously
But
injured.
who's going to take that risk though?
Oh, you have to, because somebody will just come. Boy, na sab harbi, aksuma harbi, you fight.
Yes.
So they start fighting.
No, Banjul nehon na.
No, it was interesting. This time of the year towards Tobaski
Banjul nehon na.
is different.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. It's good we're having this conversation so that because we
Otherwise-
won't do, just for us to know, all of these things are happening because we didn't do all of this.
No.
We at this point didn't correct.
No,
Wow,
you
you
can-
change.
you
but
can-
every generation is
Acting
different.
ibopam.
We would reminiscence of the past
Yeah.
and think about it in that way. You also have your own things that you do that is
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
So
yeah.
every generation will judge the order as being the best. But that's the reality of life in those days.
Yeah, and also, Mr. Mboch, the special rapporteur for the African Commission on Human and People's Rights organized a roundtable discussion for leaders in the country when it comes to the proposed repeal of the FGM ban. It was actually on the news, and women leaders attended, former vice presidents, the imams were also present, but just generally, several actors were present to come up with recommendations as to how they can have some form of political advocacy with the National Assembly to kind of convince them, because time is almost up and it's fast approaching, and different civil society organizations have also submitted their position papers to the National Assembly. We've also seen that. But while I was there, I'm glad that some of the key takeaways of this particular conversation was about, even if the law is there, it's not touched, but how can you ensure that it's not happening? Because while the law was there, it was still happening, because then now they'll be scared to enforce it, because the consequences of enforcing the law is the reason why today a National Assembly member proposed the repeal of the FGM ban. So it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's not tough. I think the emphasis should be education, really.
Okay.
Education. These are embedded cultural practices that are very difficult to convince somebody that it's not good, it's not right. So in order to achieve that, they have to use platforms, the radios, community radios, televisions, but they are completely absent. You don't see them having talk shows, educating the people, using the local languages. That is the only way you can achieve it, because you cannot force people to change certain values that they have that they have acquired over generations, because they are of the conviction and convinced that this is right. So they are going to try to stop us to do something that is right. But through education, I'm sure a lot of people would come to realize the attendant consequences of FGM and how it may impact health-wise. So the emphasis should be educating people about the health consequences that are attendant to the practice. And it's achievable. It's not going to be easy, but they have to continue.
So, Mr. Carr and Mr. Mboj, I'm aware that Babukar Cisse is on the line. Is it triple allergy? He's been 3 times.
I think quadruple now.
Oh, he's been 4 times.
3.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Well, I heard yesterday it was Korka actually who beckoned to me yesterday. 4.
4,
so
nice.
Korka,
so he's currently on the line.
my source.
Babukar, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Yanaba.
All right. So flights have been going on. I'm sure the first flight of 2,000 pilgrims reached safely, and I'm sure that other flights will be going as still now, but it is, you know, just good for us to understand how the journey was. I saw your story yesterday where you talked about the journey in detail, which was a good thing, but remind us.
Yeah, what happened is that we all come back at the airport, but you know it's 2,000 pilgrims from the Gambia, so obviously all of us cannot come at once because the plane, because it takes something like 350 or 300 something places. So that's why it has been, they just did it into groups. So as I said, the first group came, it at the third, which is on the second, and then followed by other flights. So right now, I think the last flight is in Gambia on the 5th, and that is before the rest of the president to Gambia to come to Saudi Arabia, because from Makkah, from Medina rather, because from Gambia, all the presidents will first come to Medina, and there's a reason for that, because in Medina is where the graveyard of the prophet is, and that's where Nabawi is as well, and that's where the cemetery for Badia is, where some of the prophet's companions are buried. So they also exist to dedicated to the prophet. So there's a lot of historical sites in Medina. That's why a lot of people come there, you know, to do what they call ziarah, you know, kind of visiting these places to get the history, to get the background of how Islam started and what the prophet has done. So basically, that's why we are in Medina at the moment. But we all came through the International Airport, and they check our passport, yellow fever, medical, and everything. And there's no problem so far. All the presidents are in out, and then we took our bodies from various hotels. So unlike last year, all these operators have people their own hotels, and then that's where they put their pilgrims. But so far, since they came, we didn't have any problem as of now.
Yeah, how is the food? Because last year, you know, there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, and also the proximity of the hotels, you know, to, you know, the areas where you all converge.
The food here is excellent. It's a buffet. You know, start yourself, eat whatever you want. You know, and also because Medina is very cheap. It's unlike last year, as you said, last year because all Gambian savings are provided in one hotel or 2 hotels, and the food has been straight out of the action. So it's a problem. But this time, it's the tax operators that actually catering for their own pilgrims. So it's different, you know, it's different. So we are eating, and whatever you think of, it's like the rice, white rice, whatever rice, you know, all these food, chicken, cattle food, you know, vegetables. The food is actually palatable.
All right.
Yeah. It seems that you guys, I mean, the Hajj committee have done extremely well. I mean, because we're hearing reports from our neighbors in Senegal that Air Senegal is struggling a big deal to take their Hujjats to Mecca. So it seems the organizational aspect here in Gambia is very, very, very well done. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that means that actually shows that the coordination in the Gambia is good. The Hajj commission are doing a good job. Ministry of Religious Affairs are doing a good job, and all stakeholders. You know, I didn't hear about Senegal this year now, but I know last year it happened in America, it happened in UK. They have problems traveling. It's not about the organization, it's about the visa bookings and stuff. So that's why most of the people in the diaspora, America, England, they will book through Gambian Hajj operators if they are Gambian, and they will fly to Gambia and come into pilgrimage, and it makes things a lot easier. But some of them also, like yesterday and today, our travel actually have about 10 pilgrims that came from France, from America, from the UK, and they came to the airport and we can pick them to join us at the hotel. And they are no problem as long as we are in the Gambian package.
All right. So how was the experience? You've been to Mecca for 4 times. You know, what has changed and all of that? I know it must be exciting because now you have the proper technical know-how as to how to maneuver there. You understand the places that you're supposed to go to and all of that. So how is the experience again?
The experience is good, wonderful. But anytime you come from Mecca, from Medina, Saudi Arabia, you actually learn something too. So because of there are a lot of development in the national about medical system, the skills, another side, the symbol of another side, another significant structure. So, but after all, I don't think I'll ever get lost here because I know all.
Yes.
In fact, I'm helping people. I think people they say they are lost, and they are living Gambian, and I help them and take them to their various hotels. But also because every hotel is not bad, and they all have this. You know, if you put this address in your mobile phone, it will just link you to the hotel.
QCell have offered them as
most
well.
of the people that come here are not educated. Most of the people who come here are not educated. So all past, all met, they find it very difficult to navigate their direction. But for me, the experience is good. I mean, on my way out, and a lot of people come here.
So before we go to the local language, Mr.
Just one thing, Babakar. I wonder, what is your itinerary for the day? Your program of activities? One just wants to get a sense of how one spends a typical day in Makkah at this point. Yes, Babakar, what is your itinerary for the day? Do you have any? What's your program of activities for the day today? What are you going to do afterwards?
Okay, what happened is when we came, today is the first time because we are very tired. It's like 8 hours, we just tired, so everybody was tired. So actually we started the activities here, and most of the Gambians, started their activities, but I saw other operators, getting their pilgrims to various, sites. And for us, in the morning, we went to Raudan Atik. This is where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried. We went to visit the graveyard, and we prayed for him and his companion, Abu Bakr Siddiq and Omar, who are buried together. And then from there, we also went to the Baqiyah cemetery, where some of the Prophet's family members are buried. One can pray for them as well. So that was our itinerary for today. And tomorrow and the next day before we depart, after 6 days here, we'll be visiting the two holy mosques. One of them is called Masjid Qiblatain. If you read history of Islam, it's not before people say Jerusalem when they are praying, Masjid al-Aqsa. That's what they say. But then later on, the revelation was sent to the Prophet that we should change our direction to the Holy Kaaba. That's very much different. So we have to visit that mosque. It is called Masjid Qiblatain because it has 2 prayer sites. The one is Jerusalem, another one is facing Kaaba. So that's why the Qiblatain is 2 sides. But right now, Muslims is only one side, which is the Holy Kaaba. And there's another mosque also which is called Masjid Quba. This Quba is the first mosque that was built in Medina when the Prophet was sent out of Makkah. When he was sent out, he arrived in Medina. That was the first of the things. In fact, they said he was the foundation for that mosque. Can you imagine how important that mosque is? So we'll visit that mosque. But also we'll go to Uhud. Also, Muslims forget about Uhud, where the Prophet was nearly killed during a battle, where Hamza, his uncle, was also killed. So we go and visit Hamza's graveyard, also visit other people who are martyrs at that place. So this is our itinerary for now.
All right. Babakar, I think at some point, yeah, very rich. At some point, he said he's helping some people. So Suyage, the financial tour guide. Suyage, 2 hours. Suyage, in la bola rek si Hajj committee bi ngay ada ñom di guide ujaji. Suyage fofu la ñoo mujjé de.
Well, whatever from
Légui jox ñu in Wolof mën nga ñoo just defaral benn summary bu gaaw rek as to seen nekkin foofu noonu si biir Maka, travel arrangements, the quality of the food, everything, how just everything is going in a quick summary.
waaw pour mu nekk nii gën a baax. jógee nañ Gambia.
waaw
you know flight yaa ngi ñëw benn benn. so pour mu nekk nii foog naa on the fifth last flight bi dina ñëw jógee Gambia ñëw bi Gambia nii yëpp ñu nekk Madina. te ñëw Madina bi dafa am solo trop because mooy history Madina history yonent bi ñu bëree nekk Madina. Maka la juddoo waaye fii la faam. so Pamela Bank boo dem ci Pamela ñu ñaanal ko ñaanal yeneen saa day comme ay ak bi ay Omar Abu Kul Xataab nga xam ne ñoom leen géré géré seen Pamela bi géré place de nekk am na benn Pamela boo xam ne parce que yàlla yeneen saa day foofu leen leen suuf ak yeneen bokk yi bokk yi yeneen bi so dañ dee dem ci place yooyu yëpp so from there tamit dinañ def ci ay juma yu xam ne di am solo la juma boo xam ne boobu la ñu ne di àtte ba moom ko jógee Makka bu ñu ko laaxee parce que na moo mag boobu la ci àtt sorry kaba boo dinañ dem ci juma boobu noonu par exemple waaye yëpp dina ko secteur foundation bi ci léegi te dinañ dem ci juma boobu tamit dinañ def ci beneen juma boo xam dafa am solo boo time boobu noonu ci nit ñi dem sel ne dem ci ñoo ci benn area mooy ci kaw dafa gis ne léegi yonent bi doon ñaan mooy ci dafay nekk ci kaw da yàlla na yoon ala ko ci daal te dina def ci rek yàlla ñu def ci daal mais ci time ci bi ñu doon ci bi sax pour réfléchir ñëpp doon ak wante ci ñu yëpp wax mais son rek ci force ci xaba ci xale ci ci bi yëpp ci ñu ci lu xew xanaa public wa ci ci waaye kenn ñoo di ko képp ak képp ci ko so ci la islam la ci bi ñëw na mooy na gaay ci jaare xaba te foofu la ci wax
all right Baboucarr dafa mel ni fu mu nekk nii dinaa la interrupt time bi jaamu nañu ba pare but jërëjëf si update boobu noonu ba pare ñu ngi leen di ñaanal àgga ngeen ak jaama ngeen ñib si ak jaama ba pare ñun mi nekk fii bu leen ñu faate ngeen ñaanal ñu waa QTV yow xam nga ku nekk turam ak santaam te xam nga ku nekk lu nekk si xolam so bu boobaa nga ñaanal nit ñi nag parce que yaa ñu fa nekkal.
yàlla ñaanal yow dina ba nga am
xamoon naa ne direction boobu ngaa duggi fii amin waaye kana fi wax waxi jëkkër waaw man bul faate xaalis nag ñaanal ma xaalis bu bëri waaw xaalis bi daal bu ko faate na dem side by side but ñu
yàlla na boo ñëw
Mbodj yaa dégg nga boobu ki duma ko faale Mbodj suma maam la yow duma la faale so thank you so much
na yàlla Mbodj dem Màkka
nga ne yal na Mr Mbodj dem Màkka amin ñun loolu daf ñoo ne parce que incha allah xam naa Tiwaawan dinañ si dox incha allah next year su ko defee Mr Mbodj nga àndaa Mr Ka ngeen dem siyaare ji
absolutely
mu jeex atambook mu jeex so Baboucarr thank you so much enjoy your stay all right kii ñaan bu rëy la ñaanal de
big time
because kuy dunda rek buga nga faa war a buga dem anybody ki nga xam ne yaa ngi dunda buga ngaa dem siyaare ji Mr Ka do you have any plans at some point or you've been there
lii ñoom dañ la dee ñu ne sa time jotee rek loolu lifin rek
sa time su jotee
maa ngi ci rang bi daal
yaa ngi ci rang bi
absolutely and we are all listening suñ la ooyee rek di nga dégg ba pare léegi dama gis trend bu ees because youngsters yi time boobu noonu dem Màkka it was only for the old people ñu màgget yi nga daan gis ñu dem Màkka suñ demee ñu soona ba bugg a dee waaye léegi I've seen a trend bi nga xam ne young people yi léegi dañoo dem umra dañoo dem Màkka at a very young age dañ koo dajaleel Easywood nag because benn $500,000
cash bay bëri rek
cash ba the $500,000 moom métti na te ñun ñëpp xam nañ économie bi waaye macha allah ñu ko yàlla wërsagal moom gis nañ ne léegi young people yi it's a priority to go and fulfill their pillar I've seen that, which is a good thing. Instead of her being at a certain age, you know, because that which is really a good thing. But Mr. Ka dafa mel ni fu mu nekk nii dinañ la bàyyi nga dem.
Okay, thank you
very much. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just go for a short break, Mr. Mbodj, and when we come back, we'll be taking a look at immigration and the renewal of residence permits. We'll be right back.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G Internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Soro. Go, ebe dawa full network suta tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala geta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam pona manke QCell. Ani be wuloni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell suñu boss. Ñu fi njëkka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasun tawa buka busi QCell. Itella moldi milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meda lori la kilianol yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. Connection be bambandi QCell sunyu boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunyu boss.
You asked for it, and QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply. Q Money is back again with an offer of a lifetime. You can now buy Sunyu Bundle data packages directly from your Q Money wallet for half the price. Get all Sunyu Bundle packages from 20 megabytes to 20 gigabytes and enjoy the biggest internet data discount in the market. Just dial *323# now. Choose option 4 and start buying your favorite Sunyu Bundle package half the price only with Q Money. Pay less and stay connected with the most reliable internet service in the Gambia. For more information, call 133 Q Money Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Momodu Mboj. And we are now shifting our attention to the Immigration Department of the Gambia on the renewal of permits. And we're joined by the PRO of the Gambia Immigration Department, Mamanding S. Diba, and Momodu Jallo, who is the officer responsible for ID cards. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
All right, so before we get into the whole enforcement aspect of the Department of Immigration, I think it is important that we just go back to history a little bit, where you talk to us about, who needs a residence permit, in the first place, how do they obtain it, what are the fees involved, and then we'll head right on to the other elements.
Okay. Thank you very much, Zainaba, and your colleague, Mr. Mboj. It is an honor and a privilege for us to be here this morning to share this wonderful time, with your viewers around the world. Actually, it is very important for us to remind our viewers that it is a law that obliges visitors and residents in this country to regularize their stay in this country. How do they do this? They do this thing by obtaining the relevant permits, through the due process. The permits come in two folds. One is Permit A, and you have another one, Permit B. Permit A is for resident purpose only, while Permit B is for resident and work, meaning the holders of Permit B are authorized under the law to reside in the country and also work. But the other one, which is Permit B, is only authorizing the holders to reside in the country. And usually this is just for retirees and students, people who are not engaged in any gainful employment. So basically these are the two categories of permits. And how do they go by getting these things? People who are coming into the country for the first time, after the expiration of the stamps or the visas that they have upon arrival. Usually, for example, for ECOWAS citizens, they are entitled to a 90 days free stay in the country. Okay, so at the end of these 90 days, they are supposed to leave the country. But if they so wish to continue staying in the country, then they will have to go to the nearest immigration office to obtain the permit, a residence permit, that will allow them to further reside in the country. The same thing applies to non-ECOWAS citizens. Okay, so the fees differ. The fee that the ECOWAS citizens pay differs from the fees that the non-ECOWAS citizens pay. This is by virtue of the reciprocal arrangements that have existed between our government and the other countries. In fact, we have some countries, citizens of certain countries, that are not required to pay for the permit. Like Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and a few others. That is also as a result of the arrangements between the two governments. They reciprocate some of these favors. So basically, these are some of the things that surround the issue of pass and permits for residents and visitors in the Gambia.
Mr. Mboj?
Yes, I wonder though, Mr. Jallo, we'll come back there. The ID cards. Foreigners, what kind of ID cards are they entitled to? Do they have ID cards? I wonder?
Yes, they do have. Like the PRO rightly mentioned, for the ECOWAS nationals, we have those who are issued with the non-Gambian ID card, like those from Sierra Leone, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau. These countries, they have bilateral agreement with the Gambia. So they are issued with specific cards called the non-Gambian ID cards. So, but for other ECOWAS nationals, they are issued with residence permit. Like the PRO said, this qualifies them to reside and work in the Gambia. It is renewed annually, every end of year. And then we also have the non-ECOWAS nationals. They are issued with residence permit card and alien card. Yeah, these are the type of cards that we issue to non-Gambians.
So I understand when we spoke earlier that right now, maybe I wouldn't call it a campaign, but you've prioritized trying to get certain non-Gambians to come and renew their permits. What is it on? What have you got going on right now, trying to get these people to come and renew their permits?
Okay, the law requires that at the turn of the year, all the previous residence permits and other forms of residence documents that people are holding will come to expire by 31st of December of every year. All the previous documents will expire. So now this puts all permit holders and those that are applied to get it new for the first time to walk to the nearest immigration office and regularize their stay. Regularizing, we mean you need to, officially, stabilize, or how do I say it? Yes, get your stay, your necessary documents that allow you to stay, legally in the country. So, but as a matter of giving people the chance to settle down, usually we observe a kind of period, of 2 or 3 months, from the start of the year. That is from January to February. This is to allow people to come and voluntarily do these things. So, but 3 months or 4 months into the year, we now, see it as, something necessary for us to, go around on inspections. That is when you will see immigration vehicles and, personnel patrolling, in different areas, to see, to check on people whether they have their documents ready or not. So those that they will come across not regularizing their stay will be obliged, to go to the nearest immigration station to regularize their stays. So right now, that campaign have just started. So we find it necessary that we should come and share this moment with the people, let them understand that if they should see immigration officers, moving in the streets, asking for documents, they are authorized by the relevant authorities and they are, covered by the law. This is precisely what is happening, so that people will not just be seeing them and they don't understand what. Most people will know that this is the background, but it is still important for us to come and sensitize people, because we will even prefer people to come and voluntarily do these things than us pursuing people. It saves us time, it saves us resources, and it makes life very convenient, for even the members of the public, So it is hassle-free.
I just wanted to know, how do you determine, with regards to your patrol or the exercise, how do you determine the individuals who are not Gambian and therefore need to renew their permits? Because the reason why I'm asking this is because, there is controversy surrounding this, in the sense that there are few people who have gone to, get their ID cards and they've been told, oh, we think you're not a Gambian. And then, that brought about some sort of controversy, like I mentioned. So how do you go about this to know that so-and-so person is not a Gambian and do it in a way where I'm not offended about it? In my own country.
Yeah, the inspection exercise, in fact, is for everybody. Even Gambians are obliged by law. If you reach the age of 18 years, you have to get an ID card.
True.
Failure to do so, you commit an offense. So this is why when you are approached by an immigration officer, politely asking you, please, can I see your ID card? It is mandated by law for the officer to ask you, and you are also required to produce. If you do not have, you can give a reasonable excuse to the officer so that he or she can allow you. But, it is sometimes very difficult. If you ask a Gambian, can I see your ID? They will tell you, don't you know I'm a Gambian? How do we identify you as a Gambian? It's through the ID card, not by looking at you facially and profiling you as a non-Gambian. No, you have to provide us with your document. It's the document that is going to determine who you are, whether you are a Gambian or not.
But generally, do you have targets?
Yes, based on experience.
Yes.
But like
that's the part I'm talking about.
Yes. But in instances where, for instance, we stop a vehicle, we'll politely say, "Can we see your ID cards?" That's a general for everybody. So if you are a Gambian, you show your ID card. We don't have anything to do with you. But if you do not have your ID card now, we also have something to do with you, because you are mandated by law to get this ID card. because we all know ID card is for identification purpose and also for security. You see, in instances where people will die in road accidents, for example, you can identify them because they don't have any documents with them. We have seen many cases like this where people will be taken to the mortuary for so long. Nobody will be able to identify them. Because why? They do not have any identification document with them at that point in time. So it's very important for all of us, even you people, wherever you are going, you have your ID. I remember not long ago, I helped my brother here to get his ID card in my office.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, I'm guilty.
Yes.
I'm guilty because, man, I use my
your passport.
man's my passport.
No, but
I'm so guilty.
It's not only you.
I'm so
Many
guilty about
Gambians
that. But man, whatever transaction that I do, I just use my passport, and I think I need to just get one. But I'm so guilty.
You need to get
So
your
I should
ID.
join the advocacy
Yes.
to tell people to get ID cards because I'm that person who's already using my passport.
Okay.
But this is it though. I have to sort of come back with that point that you made. Of course, it is prudent to have our ID cards for all sorts of reasons. We've seen them all. But the idea that the possession of an ID card is legally mandatory, that seems a bit weird. We just never knew. I certainly never knew which law provided for that because it seems a bit bizarre as far as I'm concerned. What's the law regarding that?
Yeah, in the Immigration Act, if you are asked by the inspection officer, the immigration officer, for you to produce your ID, you need to, you know.
But what about if
yes.
I do not have an ID?
If you, yes, that's why I say you give a reasonable excuse to say the reason why you are not able to obtain the ID card. Then the immigration officer will use his discretion to allow you. But, you know, at the inspection point, you know, you should be able to produce your identity document. You know, it is just maybe in the Gambia, but in many countries, everybody have an identification number where you'll be able to be identified who you are in case if you commit a crime or something happens to you, accident or you fall sick, you know, it will be easy for people to know who you are, where are you from. You know, this is very, very important. And then also, if we are talking of about the issue of national security, it is important we enforce this to ensure that we identify each other. We know who is who among ourselves because we have Gambians, we have non-Gambians residing in this country. And then, you know, there are a lot of issues going on. So in many instances, you know, police will even write to us during investigations to identify certain individuals. So if you are not registered, we will not be able to identify you.
All right.
Yes.
And the different, just one more, the different categories of permits, so they're all uniformly, annually renewed, right?
Yes.
With all of them.
Yeah.
What's the penalty for those who sort of don't? What is the process of people who violate this? What is the process? Is there a process?
Yes.
Then what happens? Then what happens?
Yes, like we said, it is an offense under the laws of the country. That is precisely generally the Immigration Act. That residents, people who are resident in the country, and have not obtained the necessary permits, have violated the law. Okay. So mostly we don't get to the point of prosecuting these people for those offenses because usually once they are found culpable, for these things, they quickly want to resort to arrangements that will help them, pay for these things and regularize their stay. So it is very rare for anybody to allow himself to be dragged to the courts for this kind of things. But there are laws that covers this. Even like my colleague have rightly said, even in the case of Gambians, the penalties may be very weak considering the fact that when these laws were consecuted, that was so many years ago in 1965. Okay, so the penalties for not carrying your ID card on you as an adult Gambian is very light. But those laws are still existing. But I think maybe some of these things will change to suit the prevailing circumstances, the current realities of this generation once the new GID bill is passed into law. which have taken care of most of these things. But I want to remind the public once again that there is a common adage that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Most people, like you have just said, that you don't even know that it is an obligation on you by law to carry your ID card. The issue of carrying ID cards and other identification documents is not just to identify people in the aftermath of accidents or some other things, but it is also associated with the issue of accountability. The government of this country is accountable for the existence of individuals living within this sovereign territory. All Gambians in this country must be accounted for. The government is obliged to get these people in their records. People also who are visiting the country equally are supposed to be accounted for once they are allowed into our territory as visitors or as residents. So this is very necessary.
We have 2 minutes to go, but the printing of ID cards is going on smoothly.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's good to know. But at the level of this is actually a bit off topic, but I just wanted to clear this. At the level of the border, we see the strict measures that the Senegalese have when you're getting into Senegal. You have to go through all the checks. When the moment you have your passport, they can actually fill up your passport without getting an actual visa on it, because in and out they have to check. So at our own level, there was a time there was an issue. Is that fixed?
Issue like?
Where our machines or something were not working. Is that so? Is that so?
No, I didn't think that is something that we are experiencing right now.
Along these months, there was no hitch when it comes to that?
No, as far as I know, the operations at the borders have been very smooth all along. You must be aware that we have in fact ceased manual operations in terms of registering or administering people in and out of the country. And since the introduction of the MIDAS system at our borders, this is an electronic border control device that helps us to electronically collect this information of travelers, analyze the data, and help the planning in terms of migration management. So this system have helped us a lot, and it has been up and running in almost let's say 8 border points, mostly on the land borders. And the same system, a similar system, is working for us at the airport. That is provided by the Secure Report project. So these systems have been up and running for some time now, and we have not yet experienced any kind of hitches like you have suggested.
Yeah. So, for example, if a person is coming from a country like Chad and wants to visit the Gambia, they need an invitation, right? How does that work? East Africans and all of that.
Okay. Countries like Chad and others are part of ECOWAS.
No.
Chad is
I'm talking about Niger.
Chad is not part of ECOWAS.
Yes. Countries that are not covered, by ECOWAS. For ECOWAS, it's a special arrangement. It's a special treatment.
Right.
For based on ECOWAS free movement of persons and those kind of protocols. But there are certain countries that are supposed to come to the country only when they obtain the relevant visa. You have others who, despite obtaining the visa, still need clearance.
That's the one.
For them to come into the country. These are extra measures that are put in place, by the immigration department and our stakeholders. To ensure that we are taking care of certain threats that we may envisage or from people from those areas, because we know. As a security agency, we have this understanding that certain parts of the world are in conflict, and there are certain activities that are security threats that are very prevalent in those areas. So it is prudent that we take certain measures to ensure that people that are coming from those volatile areas, I don't know if I can call it volatile areas, from those areas, are given a special attention to make sure that we are sure
Yeah.
and certain of people that are coming into the country.
All right, so I guess that's all we have time for, Mr. Mboj. I have a lot of questions when it comes to trafficking in persons, but it's not the topic today. Yeah, not at all. But hopefully we will have another opportunity where the Immigration Department will be here to ask questions relating to that. But thank you so much for the work that you do, and good luck.
I just want to send a word of advice and encouragement to the members of the public.
Yeah.
Particularly landlords and business owners.
Okay.
They should. We encourage them to cooperate with the immigration enforcement officers to make sure that these exercises are conducted hitch-free. We want people to know that they are obliged by law to ensure that people who live in their premises or those that work in their businesses are legally, registered with the relevant authorities.
Thank you.
Because, otherwise they are found on the wrong side of the law.
Thank you. So, Mr. Mboj, I think to conclude this entire conversation, this brings us back to a conversation that we had 2 months ago, probably, where we talked about the fact that people that are not living, Gambians that are living outside of the country, it is normal for immigration to come and ask you questions. It is normal to be deported if you're in another country without the required papers, because our own immigration as well is going out to look for permits. So it's the same thing. We should avoid all the misconceptions about deportation.
Every country has its laws.
Every country has its laws. Germany, other countries, they have their rules and regulations. If you are not staying there legally, they will ask you for a permit. It's the same thing as our own immigration. If you're not a Gambian, they will ask you for a permit. So let us be fair. Each and every country has their own rules and regulations, and let us stick to it, So that's just it. So till we come your way tomorrow with another interesting program, thank you so much for joining us.